Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Missy. Thanks for joining me again for another video. Today's layout is for My Scraps and More, and I made this layout a couple weeks ago for a Throwback Thursday challenge. And the beginning of this I actually made as part of my Shimmers Shorts videos for my Shimmers design team, and I was showing different ways to use spray inks with stencils. And once I made one of these backgrounds, I decided to use it as a background for my Scraps and More page. So this is just me playing around with some stencils and some of the inks, and here in a second I'm going to show you what I did to make the background that I use for this layout. And I'm sorry if I sound stuffy, I have a cold. So I took some plastic packaging, and that's what I used to lay my stencil on, to spray the inks on it, to use the stencil as a stamp. So then I took this white cardstock and just smushed it over the excess ink. And as you can see here, I have pink, orange, and yellow, and it just blends together really, really neat. And so I just smushed the paper on there a few times, and you get this really unique, different shape as a background. And so these are Shimmers products that I used to create this. So from there, I'm going to start my layout. And this is what I would call an imperfect photo that I think is perfect. It's my oldest daughter from a couple years ago, and I was trying to get her to pose for me. And she was so excited. She was jumping up and down. She was not excited because I was taking her picture. Who knows why she was excited. But she just kept jumping, and so I just kept taking the pictures. And this one's so funny to me because you can see the huge smile on her face, but her face is, half of her face is cut off, but she's in process of jumping and laughing, and it just captures her in the moment. And so I thought, you know what, to me this is a perfect picture and I love it, so we're gonna scrap that. So my challenge for this Throwback Thursday challenge was to use up some of your excess ephemera and die cuts. Crepe paper comes to mind when I think of this, because you all know every time we get a crepe paper collection, there's a huge ephemera pack, especially the Maggie Holmes lines, and it takes forever to use all of that up. And so I've got a lot of things already over there on the right that I've pulled from, Style Board, Open Book, Notes and Things, just a collection of crepe paper. And then on the left-hand side, I've got some Heidi Swapp September Skies papers, and that's what I'm going to use to back my photo. Now, this tissue paper is a roll that I got from Michaels. It's Hazel and Ruby, and you can still get it there. I think it's like $9.99, but if you use a coupon, it's not that much. And it's really cool for adding layers or creating some different elements in your background. And I'm going to use this piece here as a layer. And this layout actually came together pretty quickly. I tried not to think too much. I just wanted that background to inspire me. And so that's kind of where I started, was the background. It's just very different. And even though you can kind of see the square outline of the stencil, it winds up being really, really cool, I think. So I just kind of went for it. I added in some thread here, and it's white. And before I stuck my picture down, I just wadded up the thread and kind of let it fall, so some of the pieces were sticking out from where the photo will go. And I kind of, had an idea in mind, but at the same time, I just kind of wanted to go for it and try to work in as many of these little die cuts and embellishments that I could, because I have a huge container of those things that just sit there. And so I vowed to use as many as I could, and I just played around with a lot of them here. A lot of them I don't use, but I definitely use that light orange file tab there because it has an R on it, and my daughter's name starts with R, so I thought that's perfect. And I tried to go with elements that match the background, and I do wind up bringing in some blue elements, and I think that was the perfect touch, but that's later. And I do end up using that little chipboard horse. I wish I could afford to buy my daughters a horse, but they do, as part of their therapy at their school, they do get what's called hippotherapy, and that is horse therapy. If you're familiar with any type of animal therapy, then that involves horses, and they love to ride the horses. So over on the left, I have a bunch of Heidi Swapp stuff, and this is, I just keep it all in a plastic bag. A lot of it's September Skies. wood veneer. And do you remember these little pieces that were white? I think they were Color Magic or something. And you can spray mist on them or paint, or in this case gelatos, and there's white spots on it that show through where the color doesn't. And so I take a couple of blue gelatos here, and I'm just going to cover this whole flower with blue. And I think it's going to be the perfect pop of color for this page. I don't know, do you ever have one of those layouts where you weren't even really planning anything, but you just kind of started sticking things in places and it wound up liking it a lot? That's kind of how this layout went. I just kept sticking things there, and I was like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, this looks good here. And so that's just how this one went. And because usually I have to stop and start, and this one I kind of just started and kept going, and it came together pretty quickly, which is unusual for me because I'm a very slow, meticulous scrapper. So I just keep playing around with all of these pieces, and mainly the flowers. And it's weird because I'm not even a flower person. I rarely tend to use flowers on layouts, and lately it seems like I've been using a lot of flowers. Not real flowers, but or not like the Prima flowers, the silk flowers or anything, but paper flowers. I don't know. I just have they've felt right, and I like to use them as layers, kind of like I'm doing here. I like to kind of tuck half of it behind the picture, or like it's coming off the page, or abstract type flowers, not necessarily a realistic flower. I don't know, I go through phases where, and I know I've said several times, ew, I don't like that, I'll never use that on my page. And then what happens? I wind up using it, and I wind up liking it. So never say never in scrapbooking, because you never know what you may all of a sudden like one day that you used to not like. So I know I have a lot of pink pulled out over there on the left, and a lot of pink does wind up on this page, but I think it evens out. I have so much of that Heidi Swapp stuff and so much crepe paper stuff. Oh my gosh. It feels so good to pull out stuff from your stash and use it. I mean, there's so many new things, and we all want to get the new collections as soon as they come out, because if you're like me, you think, oh my gosh, if I don't get this right now, it's going to be sold out and I'll never get it. So I always want to get it right away. And then I look around and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have shelves full of stuff that I have not used yet. So it feels good to use some older stuff. Now, this is something that I'm glad I did. I really, really love how it turned out. It reminds me of something that Wilna Furstenberg does. I know she uses lots of white with black polka dots to edge her papers, and I kind of wanted to do that. And so I just kind of messily, is that a word? Trim off some of the side and bottom of my paper, and I'm kicking myself. I don't know why I used this entire polka dotted sheet to back this layout. I should have just cut out the part I did not use that you can't see. So now the whole sheet is used up. And I think I was just in the zone of use the stuff. Use it up. It's been sitting on your shelf for over a year and you haven't used it yet. So just use it. So that's why I did that. But still, I wish now that I'm watching this, I wish I would have cut out the part that you don't see so I would have more of it. And I did some stitching around those edges, and it's meant to be crooked. I wanted it to be kind of crooked. And then I'm just going to keep playing around with some more of the bits and pieces. And I'm going to use that flare button. And it's got a hot air balloon on it. And I think it says soar higher. And I thought it was perfect because she's jumping up and down. And now this is from the 6x6 pad. And it's the same pattern as the big polka dots. It's just the small one. And I just wanted to echo the black dots. And so I'm going to use a little tear of this paper tucked in right there. And I love how this turned out. I think this is one of my favorite pages that I've made in a while. And I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I love it. And I was very, very happy that it came together kind of quickly. And I know this is a 14.5 minute video, but for me, the fact that I think I judge my speed by how long I can go in one sitting without stopping, if that makes any sense. And this one, I didn't have to do a lot of pausing. I stuck something down. I was like, I like it. And then I would try something else. Yes, I like it. And usually I have to try, 5 or 6 different things here or there before I decide. And this one it just clicked. Everything that I put in most places I liked, and it stayed there. And I'm just going back and forth between the crate paper and the Heidi Swapp, and just trying to combine them. And see, I still have all of that wood veneer. Do you remember the wood veneer that came with this collection? I didn't use any of it on this page, but I still have it. And I'm going to use one more piece of that Color Magic. That's what I'm calling it. I think that's what it's called. And it's a little arrow, and I'm going to make it kind of an orangey color. I forgot how fun that stuff was. I need to pull it out and use it again. And I'm really happy that I added in some of the blue and that deeper pink color. I think it really sets it off. And see, it's all based around that background that I made as an experiment. And so sometimes it's fun to just play around, because you never know what you may create when you're just experimenting with inks or paints. And I am going to add a little bit of thread underneath my flare button there. Excuse me. And I picked these up from the My Scraps and More store. These are some of the new Ellie's Studio Alpha stamps. And there's, I think, 3 different types. You can buy the solid ones like this, or the open letters. And then there's another set that has little teeny tiny polka dots in the center of those. And I wanted to use these as part of my title. And I was actually inspired by one of the die cuts in the Heidi Swapp stamps, or ephemera pack, that said, "Let your light shine." And so I thought, yeah, I like that. I'm going to make that my title. And so I stamp it down, and then I'm going to just use my own handwriting to do the rest. I wanted it to be kind of cursive and whimsical. And so I just handwrite, "Let your shine." And I had to practice shine and I hesitated for a while, because I thought, okay, once you write it down, it's down. And I go back over it just to make sure it's, you can see it and it's dark enough. And then I'm just going to lightly doodle around the square of where the stencil was in the beginning when I made the background. And I'm going to come in with my little date stamp. And I do add some black color shine and a little bit of journaling. I don't show that, but because my video was getting long. This is an October afternoon stamp, and I can't for the life of me remember what I stamped down there, what it says. And then I use this little American Crafts one also. And that is pretty much the end of the layout. I really love how this turned out. I love the light and airy feel of it. I like the black elements mixed in with all those light colors. And so I hope you have some of these elements you can pull out from your stash and create something fun. Please let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you check out myscrapsandmore.com, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for joining me, and have a great day.